Hey, I'm going to be showing off Super Dungeon Tactics, the demo we had ready at PAX East. First thing we're going to do is jump into a quick play, just to kind of get an overview of the game. We'll do a few rounds of that and then jump into some of the other features of the demo. So I'm going to do this enemies everywhere. This is a pretty difficult one. There's lots of enemies in here, a couple other interesting things like spawn points and a hero or a mini boss here. So first thing when you get in, you can rotate your view. You can take a look at the battlefield here. The other thing we're going to notice is we do have, like I said, a mini boss and some spawners here that we've got to take into account. At the top here is an initiative system. So our hero's got a good draw this time. So we've got 2 hero turns followed by an enemy turn. We also see these dice that get rolled at the start of every round. These are used to enhance and alter your characters. So we've got a nice little mix here. We've got an attack special, or basically an active special as we like to call it. So if we were to put it on the rogue here, that would give her the ability to do her stick and move, which means she can move after an attack in addition to her standard move. We've got a heal, some extra movement. These are power bonuses, so basically their standard attack is going to go up. Every hero can move and attack in either order, but again, things like this red special are going to give them the ability to do a different attack than what they normally would. We've got movement bonuses as well as skulls. Most of the characters are going to get some kind of detriment once they assign a skull. Those generally come from the enemies, but not always. And skulls are going to typically enhance the enemies and also boost up these spawners to where they're kicking out more enemies and more powerful characters. So sometimes you want to take them, but they do have negative consequences as you play. These dice get rolled every round, and it really sets the tone for that round, but then the next round they're going to get re-rolled, and it's going to alter your strategy a little bit. So we'll jump in here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this red special and put it on my ranger, and as I put my mouse over there, I can see she gains a triple shot from that. I'm going to go ahead and give my paladin a move bonus, just to give him a little more nimble. And let's give the star to our rogue. And finally, I'm going to have to give a skull to one of my characters. So in this case, it's the barbarian. So her attack damage is going to go down by 1. So not something we want, but in this case, that's what we got to do. I'm going to take my rogue in here, and actually, let's bring her over here. Take out these guys. She gets a double attack, so she's going to hit both of these guys. And we've got our paladin. So with that last attack there, in addition to his health, the Gouger actually had armor as well. The way armor works is it soaks damage every round and before you start doing health point damage. It'll reset every round, so if a character has a lot of armor, you want to attack them and focus your attacks on them to break through that armor. There's also a block in the game, and blocks allow you to reduce every hit that comes in by 1. So they work a little bit different. Here the barbarian doesn't have a whole lot of options, so she's going to take on that Gouger. Squads are activating, and then I'm going to put my ranger in a spot where she's got multiple options of characters to hit. I'm going to go ahead and take this guy out. And we'll go ahead and kill this flinger up on top. Again, all the enemies are going to go. They work in squads. So this first guy that went has a little star there. That means he's a squad leader. So during that token, anyone that's in his squad is going to activate. Mini boss is going, and then the spawners are going to generate some power. So we'll go through one more round here and take a look at a little bit more gameplay. Enemy got pretty good initiative on this one, so they took a lot of the good dice. So I'm left with the block that I talked about, which is going to reduce my damage. So I want to give that probably to some character that's either going to be in the middle of things or that I just want to protect. And if we look, probably give it to the rogue. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got the next one as well. I want to do a bunch of damage here. So I'm going to give this to the barbarian. So that's going to make her more powerful. It also hurts her a little bit. And then finally I have to do the skulls to one of my two characters. That gives him poison, and this reduces her damage. So we're going to do the damage reduction just because I don't want to take extra damage on my paladin. Okay, so it's our turn. We can go in and, so in this case, I'm going to choose to attack first. So that way I can clear him out, and then I also get to move afterwards. So I'm going to position her right there. That'll allow her to take on that spawn point the next round. And you can see here I've got some terrain that's blocking my attack. So I've got to be careful with where I'm going to place her. So I'll just wait on that character. Grab the paladin. And I'm going to take him out. So notice these little minions kind of scattered. They're still going to attack, but they're going to go towards a higher level enemy that can, you know, kind of regroup with them. She's not going to do too much damage, so I'm going to back her up, and we'll hit this guy right there. He's only got 1 health, so it worked out all right. Okay, so now I waited, and that allowed my rogue to get in here to where she can do a double attack. So if this guy would have died, I could have switched over my attack to here. We're going to go ahead and take out both of them. Up there, the barbarian had an interrupt, and that allows her to attack, kind of a intercept or attack before she gets hit. Is how that works. So this next round would be a little bit more offensive. You can see here we've got 2 red specials, which are more active, aggressive specials usually, and plus a star. So again, this round I have to think more offensive than defensive. So that would be how the game would continue on until we either are defeated or hopefully victorious. So I'm going to pop out of this screen and go into the preview of the campaign mode and just talk about some of the features here really quickly. So we've got 3 locations on our map. We've got a typical dungeon, we've got a town, and also the mine levels. So I can pick any one of these. It's going to give me a little bit of information about what's going on there, but more importantly, what characters or how many characters can I bring into the battle. I pick next, and these are the 8 characters that we currently have showing in the game. There'll be several more coming. And with this, I can just choose which heroes I want. So I can recruit characters, grab the mage, and let's go ahead and grab the warden here. So they fill in line here, and those are kind of how they're going to position themselves when they get started. Each character, though, I can also go in and change their equipment. So if I go into equip, by default, a hero only has a really simple attack, which is a punch, and then they have a coin instead of a die that they're using. But as I go into this, I can start to configure their equipment. In this case, this is a class item, which is going to be the biggest change that's going to happen. It's going to affect their health, their base attacks, all those kind of things. Gives me these two symbols here, which is the offensive or active special as well as a movement. I can go to weapons and grab a weapon here and assign that, and we start to see the dice being filled out. So those action dice are built through the equipment, and it really is tailored towards what kind of equipment, what type of weapon it is, how is it being used. And here I've got two different classes of weapons I can use. So a fighter can use a crossbow as well as an axe. We go over to the armor, we're going to see a little bit more change in how the dice would affect. So I could grab this base armor and drop this on here. I'm going to get the most benefit from it as far as base stats, but I don't get any specials from it. This one in particular, I drop this on, my dice are going to change, my options are going to change because this has the response action that I can pull. And finally, we've got trinkets. These are ways to kind of further modify or alter your character. All heroes can use all trinkets. So for instance, if I was worried about a level being particularly long or didn't have any healers, I could put this pendant on here, and that's going to allow me to have some healing options for my characters. So I could go through each one of these, equip them, and all my leveling is handled through the level of the gear I have. So if I wanted to, I could pick a different hero, strip the gear off of them, and put it on a different type of hero, and level them up as well. So lots of options for how you build out your heroes, and there's nothing wrong with going in and trying out some new heroes and seeing how they're going to work. Thank you.